Welcome back, I'm Captain Xavier, and I had to actually watch the previous video to figure out where exactly I left off on the video, because that wasn't where I left off building. I actually went on to pretty much complete all 5 ships. I did end up going with 5 ships. Not sure if I ever mentioned I was planning to go to 5 ships, but I went to 5 ships instead of 4 ships. Anyway, I went on to pretty much completely finish both of these, but there were a number of things that I had to do in order to get to that point, because I was missing some parts, and then I ordered parts and changed some design plans. So I stripped it back down to more or less where I left off, so that I can make those changes, and so that you guys can see more or less the rest of the build. There is a fan going, if you're wondering what that noise is, because it is warm up in my leg room. I need to get some AC up here. But let's add. What I'm going to be adding that wasn't there before are some support ribs and the understructure. There was some weakness down here that I wasn't a fan of, that really came about as a result of some of the changes I made to the original design of the ship. That yellow stripe that I really like is unfortunately where there's supposed to be some support plates, and because I made them yellow, I couldn't use them the way I originally wanted to, so I'm going to build it more like an actual ship and actually have support ribs that will support the upper deck. So that's where we are, and I'm just gonna build. We'll see how it goes on this one, and then I'll need to do it on the other one as well, and then finally I'll switch over to the red fleet and you can see what's going on over there. So here we go. Right, that is the first one upgraded, and it uses far fewer parts and is far more stable, and I definitely like it. So I'm gonna go grab the other one and retrofit it as well. Right, there they are. I haven't put the rigging on yet because I want to be able to show you some details. It would be more difficult when I put the rigging on. But these are both 36 gun ships. They've got 18 small guns on the top. They will have 18 small guns underneath, or full-size guns underneath. Those haven't arrived yet. I had to order them from China in order to get enough of them. Though I think I ended up I may have ordered decidedly too many. I think I ordered 80 large guns for these two and 80 for the other one. I actually only needed considerably less than that. I only needed 36 big guns for these two. So I'm gonna have a lot of extra cannon, which is good because I have an even bigger project planned. But they won't all be the right color. Anyway, not the point. What we have here are my just standard 36 gun frigates. The cannons on top are brick built, and I'm really quite pleased with how they came out. They are very solid builds, and that's what I really like. I was able to get lots of detail and lots of angle and curve and all of that without having to compromise the structure. It is an absolutely solid build. Where the two ships differ, because they were meant to be sister ships. They were laid down at the same time, built using the same plans. Where they differ are here in the back. They have different detailing. So they are very similar, but not the same. Very, very similar concept, but different window layouts and different detailing. And then the figureheads are also similar, but different. One has kind of a Valkyrie helmet, and the other has just a regular knight helmet. Other than that, everything else about them is identical. And I love how they came out. I love the size, the svelteness, the coloring. I made a number of changes from the original design. A lot of that for stability, but also a lot of it for aesthetics. I changed a lot of the colors here and there. And oh, actually, speaking of changing colors, parts arrived that will allow me to make certain things the right color. So let me just swap those out real quick. And get you put back on. There we go. So, a pair of 36 gun frigates. I then do have the masts and rigging, though I do not yet have sails. That is going to be a whole different adventure, figuring out how I actually want to do the sails on all of these ships. They're going to have to be custom made. Sergeant Deplorable has already done some absolutely beautiful custom sail work for his fleet. I will probably pick his brain on how he did it, learn from his experience. He actually hand-tied all of his, this rigging, the rope, the ladders. I don't plan to do that. I went with brick ones, Lego ones. They're just easier, allow me to take the ship apart a lot easier and make changes. For his, untying all of that, I imagine, is a somewhat arduous process that I happen to know he's currently going through, because after seeing the way my frigates looked, he decided to do some seriously complicated retrofitting on his ships, because he had originally built them on the old style of hulls, which work. I mean, I've seen lots of beautiful builds on those, but they always tend to look like they're much further out of the water because of how tall those hulls are. Whereas these, I used the newer style of hull, which are two pieces, and then didn't use the front piece. So it looks like it's riding in the water much more at the height that it actually would be. Even then, it's still a little above where the actual water line would be. But when he brought his to compare next to mine when we had the event here last month, and he very quickly decided, nope, yep, I wanna build mine along those lines. So he bought new hulls. He already had the midsections. He just needed the bow and the stern parts, which are the same part. And so he is retrofitting his whole fleet to get it closer to the ground, which will make them look better when we display them together, because we want to have both of our fleets. His frigates are actually, I believe they are the same size as these. I think they have fewer guns, maybe, but very different construction. I used the slope plates, or slope bricks. Do I have any? Yeah. I used these bricks to get the angled side to give it a little bit more definition. He went with angled plates, which made for a much more complicated build and less solid. And that's what I was saying of, I like how solid this one came. His has a lot more curve, a lot more detail. They're very svelte. Mine has some sharp angles and some weird joints that aren't quite as pretty as his, but mine is probably much more solid. You can actually push down on the deck and you can pick it up and it's not going to fall apart. So yeah, there's kind of a difference in build design. We'll see how they actually look side by side once he retrofits his. I'm really looking forward to it. They're gonna be gorgeous. And then I have to start on the sails. So that's where I am for the blue faction. They are done except for sails and lots of little details, you know, barrels and buckets and food and weapons and crew. Crew is going to be the hardest part. I'm going to need a ridiculous number of crew to man 2 frigates like this properly. And I just don't have them at the moment, but they will be acquired one way or another. So yeah, there is the current state of the blue squadron. Now, stay tuned Thursday for the current state of red squadron. Yeah. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.